getting in a good mood. I'm getting there. I started off with good energy, so. Hey. That was the weakest hey I think I've given. So, I just want to give some really fast, simple advice to like hopefully power you through your day. Because it's conversations that I have with myself. So, like, a lot of the times I'll share with y'all things that I think about or things that I'm talking to myself about, because I still also give myself pep talks. Like, that's kind of where I get to talking to y'all. So a lot of y'all have already seen my posts lately, and I'm like, I won't use the word stress, but I have a lot to do. And my mom always tells me that I don't give myself enough credit, and chances are you probably don't give yourself enough credit as well. But what I'm trying to say is, in a simplified version, is, you know, you've got to be your biggest support system. You've got to be the person to be able to cheer yourself up, to give yourself those pep talks. You know, like, while I'm trying to, like, tape up all the orders, I'm talking to myself, trying to just get myself through what I was doing, not get discouraged, just keep in the moment and encourage myself in the moment, because there's so many other people that are waiting for your downfall. There's so many people that are waiting to kick you while you're already down. They're like rooting for your bottom, and you don't even realize it. Or sometimes you do. Sometimes you do have very open outward people that are just there, and they like verbally and outwardly contribute to your destruction or your downfall. So it doesn't make any sense for you also to be your worst critic, because if nobody else is there for you, you at least can be like, I'm there for me. I can talk myself out of the situation. I can pull myself out of the situation. It doesn't make sense for you to also participate in your own demise. Like, if other people are going to be kicking you while you're down, you don't want to get jumped, including yourself. Like, you don't want to put yourself in that equation. You know, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to uppercut yourself in the face and you've already got like 5 people kicking the shit out of you. So if anything, if there's gonna be anyone in your corner, make sure that you're there for yourself. Make sure that you're in your corner. It just does not help. It doesn't make anything any better. It's not productive to beat yourself up, to give yourself negative self-talks. Like, it's unhealthy. It's super unhealthy. And again, if you're not there for you, you can damn sure believe that a lot of other people aren't going to be there for you either. So remember that there's a lot of people you already know, a lot of negativity, a lot of people that don't feel great about themselves. So it is their mission to also make other people not feel great about themselves. It is their mission to make sure that you fail or have a hard time. So if you know that, just make sure that you are also not contributing to your own self-demise through negative self-talk. So if you're frustrated, if you're going through something difficult, take a moment to like evaluate where you are, where you've come from. Give yourself some credit, pat yourself on the back, because I do, think about this a lot, because my mom, I talk about what I want to do, where I want to go, how I feel like, I haven't gotten there yet, or I'm not doing this yet, or I'm not doing that yet. And my mom's like, Diandra, you're already doing it. Like, you don't give yourself enough credit. And I'm like, damn it, I really don't give myself enough credit. I don't look at what I've already done or what it is that I'm doing, how in the ways that I have been successful to motivate me to where I'm going. So you might not be where you want to be right now, but look back at the times that you were really proud of yourself and give yourself like credit even for the small things that you do. Because like sometimes the small victories really do mean a fucking lot to you and a lot to people. I mean, you can think about people that go through severe depression and severe bouts of depression, and they have a hard time cleaning their space. They have a hard time just putting clothes on. They have a hard time just getting out the house or just getting out the door in the morning. So if you're able to function on a daily basis, if you cleaned your room today, if you put on an outfit that you really appreciate, if you were able to find something about yourself that made you smile, embrace that feeling feeling and nurture that feeling. And it might seem small right now, but the more you nurture those small things, they do grow into something bigger, you know. So don't beat yourself up, you know. Don't let life jump you and you also jump in on jumping you, because it just doesn't make any sense. So if people are kicking you while you're down, make sure that you're also not punching yourself in the face in the process. So you need to be your biggest support system. Your biggest cheerleader should always be you. And it definitely helps, you know, it helps motivate the situation. Because, you know, these last couple of days, if I was in here talking shit to myself, like, I wouldn't have gotten as far as I am in my orders. There's still so much for me to do. But even with that being said, I'm like, Diandra, oh my God, it's okay. You're going to get things done in time. You know, like, either people are going to be patient with you and appreciate your effort and understand that you're only one person. You're only one person, Diandra. Like, people are going to either vibe with that and appreciate what you're doing and appreciate your hard work or your effort, or they're not. And in that case, you can still only be your greatest support system. You only still have to keep working for all the other people that still do want their stuff. You still have to actually keep going for yourself more than anybody else. So just remember that even when the shit hits the fan or everything piles up, like, you still have to be there rooting for yourself. Like, get the shit done. You can do it. Think back on all the times that you accomplished something. Think back on all the small things that you did. Think about your small victories. Look at other people and realizing that, you know, like, again, I just mentioned, like, there's so many people with severe mood disorders that have a hard time functioning on a daily basis. So sometimes you just have to stop and be thankful that you woke up, you got dressed, you took a shower, you were able to wash your dishes without this big cloud of, like, self-defeat over your head. Like, you are going to make the biggest difference in your journey more than anybody else. Because, like, my heart goes out to everybody that's, like, really battling with deep thoughts or really battling with suicidal thoughts. But you have to be bigger than those voices in your head. Your desire and love for yourself has to be bigger than what people think of you. Because at the end of the day, like, other people that we share space with in this life are not going to be there when we transition into a new space. They're not going to be there for a lot of our big moments. They're not going to be there when you're building. Some people are just hanging on the sideline, again, to wait for you to fail, to put, you know, seeds of doubt in your mind. And you have to also realize that people are not just people. People are also people inflicted by many different things. They also have their own demons. They also have their own spiritual battles. So you need to be careful about who you let speak into your life and speak over your existence, especially if you're already having a hard time. Because, you know, that seed of doubt might have just passively snuck in a talk with your sister or your mother or your father, you know, and you take it to heart because of who they are to us. But you also have to realize that other things speak through people that we love. Other things use the people that are closest to us to also destroy us. So just be protective over your mind, your heart, your space, because not everybody that is around us is always going to be a beacon of light for us. You have to be able to light your own candle, keep that on fire going. And I know that it's not the most fucking easiest thing in the world, especially if you feel like you're just so weighed down by everything that's going on in your life. But even today, if you haven't gotten out of bed, if you're not eating, just find something to smile about and, like, detox from all the sad shit. Sometimes we have to get the fuck offline. Like, if you're not in a good emotional state of being, don't let nobody talk to you about their hard times or their problems. Tell them to talk to somebody that might be a little bit in a better space to be able to hear stuff like that. Like, you might not be able to handle anything like that, and that is okay. Like, be able to set your boundaries. Like, if you know you're an extremely sad person, don't scroll down your timeline, because you know you're going to see a bunch of fuck shit. You know you're going to see stuff about all the things environmentally, politically, and all of that can be a drag. Sometimes you have to detox from extra sensory things, especially if you're already going through a lot on your own, in your own mind. It doesn't make sense to just keep overloading yourself with things that could just continuously cause you to bring your mood down or vibrate lower. So Find something that makes you smile. Like, go out of your way to find something that makes you laugh. Like, watch a funny movie, stream a funny movie. You know, think about, just do something simple for yourself. Like, so if you're having a hard time, don't get so overwhelmed with what you want to do, what you wish you would be doing, because sometimes those thoughts themselves, the dog just snored in the background, those thoughts themselves sometimes can also add to your anxiety and add to the pressure that you put on yourself. Take it step by step. Take it a moment at a time. Okay, you can understand that you might not necessarily want to be where you are right now, but break those feelings down into baby steps. Because if you're overwhelming yourself with the bigger picture, you're going to drown in that thought process, especially if you're already not functioning at your highest or your greatest capability. So don't inundate yourself with these big ideas and these big thoughts and these big plans. Have like a goal in mind, but figure out how you can accomplish that in baby steps. Sometimes our perception of time can be our biggest enemy. Like, we think that we need to have this at a certain age, or we need to be here at a certain time, or we need to be married at this time. We need to have a family at this time. Oh, I wanted to start my business by now, or oh, I wanted to be doing this by now, or whatever your personal timeline is. Sometimes that can be one of your biggest enemies, because now you're rushing and you're forcing something that might not naturally happen in that pace. So now you just caused yourself all this undue and unnecessary anxiety because you just didn't allow it to happen naturally. You weren't patient with the process. Throw time the fuck out the window. Just throw it out the window. Like, set loose goals for yourself, but set loose timelines for yourself, especially if a person that, if you constantly battle anxiety or if you constantly battle depression, be very careful about the amount of weight that you're putting on yourself. Be careful about the amount of baggage that you're putting on yourself, because it's yours to carry alone. Nobody else is going to help you pick that shit up. Nobody else is going to help you carry that shit. And you also have to be aware of the bags that you carry that you've just willingly picked up. The shit that you just continuously pack on your back. So, like, do a self-analysis. You know, I like the hand motions. Do a self-analysis. Take a couple of days. Take a week. Take a month. To, like, literally do some inventory on your life. The feelings that you've picked up. The feelings that you're gathering along the way that you haven't let go of. Even think about the baggage did you pick up from other people along the way. Shit, I be worried about everybody and their mother. I cry literally every day for people. People I don't know. People I've never met in my life. Just like, shit, I be crying every day. But I think that's my own way of releasing certain things so that I'm not constantly pulling other people's baggage along with me along the way. Sometimes we get so wrapped up in other people's problems that we forget that we have our own shit that we need to work through. It's okay to have those girl talks. It's okay to have your guy moments, and y'all are chilling and y'all are talking about everything and y'all are sharing feelings and whatever the case may be, but leave it in that moment. Like, don't put your friends' problems on your back and carry them, because they're not your problems to carry. You can be a support system for your friend, but you have to also remember that you must be a support system for yourself first and foremost. You can't carry your family's problems on your back. That shit will weigh you the fuck down, and it will be with you for forever, because you have to realize that you cannot fix anybody else's problems. You cannot fix anybody else's problems. You can only give people sometimes a hint in the right direction. You can be a guide for them. You can show them the right way. But you have to realize that at that moment when you tell somebody, hey, I think that you should go right, you can't go right with them, because that's not your path. You've got to let them travel that road by themselves. A lot of y'all are in situations that you're in because you keep traveling down journeys with other people that were never intended for you. You have to focus on your own path. And sometimes it's difficult because we don't want to see our friends in bad situations. We don't want to see our family members in bad situations. We don't want to see the people that we love in bad situations. But you can't do that for them. You can't carry their bags for them. Like, they have to eventually get through that on their own, in their own time, in their own way. You will never be able to absolve someone else's problems. Never. So stop trying. Like, the idea and the concept of being a savior and a martyr are very deadly to society, because the whole martyrdom complex will literally having you throw yourself under a high-speed train for no reason. You'll throw yourself under the bus, and the person that you're throwing yourself under the bus for is on the sidelines watching you sacrifice yourself for them. That's what I mean by being a martyr or being a savior isn't healthy for you. You cannot throw yourself on the line for anybody else that's not willing to throw themselves out there for themselves. You cannot stand in front of an oncoming train, an oncoming car for somebody else, and they're standing on the sideline and they're watching it. That is how you destroy your life for other people. And they still, even after that, still have to find a way to get over their own problems. They still have to work through their own problems. At that point, you just wounded and injured yourself for no damn reason. Put yourself first. It's not selfishness. There's a time and a place to be selfless. We can be selfless in other ways that are not harmful for us. You have to be able to set boundaries with yourself and know when something and helping someone else is becoming hurtful to you as a person. I just went from one topic to the next, y'all. I feel like I just ran through a whole bunch of shit. I was like, I started on being your own biggest fan, because that's what I need to do for myself. Then I ended up on like some whole other shit. But like, y'all get the point. Like, what I'm just trying to say is be mindful of the energy that you're inviting into your life. Be mindful of who you're allowing to drop energy on you, and you being accepting of it. And you look up and you're wondering why you're feeling a certain way, because sometimes our feelings aren't even our feelings. Like, people that are empathetic understand that and realize that sometimes our feelings aren't even our feelings. Sometimes we're processing and dealing with things that of other people in our vicinity, somebody down the street, like, our best friend that just told us the other day all the stuff that they're going through, and you're feeling sad about it, or you're thinking about the situations that your family is in, or whatever the case may be. But you have to remember that unless you're in a better place, you can't help anybody else. Like, if you're living in poverty and you're struggling and you're homeless, you don't have anything to give anybody else unless it's a hug and a word of encouragement. But looking at it in a physical sense, when you think about it as resources, if you want to look at emotional energy and spiritual energy as resources, just as a tangible concept and a tangible idea, if you don't have any money in the bank, you can't loan anything out. You can't give anything anybody else to borrow. Same thing with your emotional energy and your spiritual energy. If you are not prioritizing yourself, if you are not prioritizing your emotional well-being, if you're not prioritizing your spiritual well-being, you will not have anything to give anybody else. And you still have to give yourself moments to recharge. There's times that I will sit here and I will answer messages in my DMs or whatever the case may be. And usually people are reaching out to me for some very heavy shit. And I do what I can do. And then I take a moment and I have to step back and I have to remove myself from it. And then I have to recharge my battery. I have to decompress, because I can't carry other people's issues in my life, because I can't do anything about it. I'm not in a position where I can save anyone. I can only comfort you. I can only be a bandage for you. I can be some ointment for you. I can, give you some encouragement and some words of advice. And then maybe you think about it on your own time, and you can take away from it what you want to take away from it, and you can integrate certain things into your life. But that's all that you can do for people. And remember that you have to remove yourself at some point in time. You have to set boundaries at some point in time, so that you aren't leaving out as hurt as the person that came to you. Because sometimes that's where we mess up. We allow damage to happen to ourselves because we want to be there for someone else. We want to be the shoulder that somebody cries on. And then you deal with that over time. And then you realize that you've also then been burdened with that person's negativity because you didn't shed those layers. You didn't get rid of it. Now you're later down the line. You might have woke up in a great mood. You know, like you wake up in a great mood and you see something on Facebook, or you talk to somebody and then it's sad, and then like the rest of your day you kind of just feel off because you didn't protect yourself. You weren't in a position, in a mental state of being where you were ready to take that on. And if you're not ready to take that on, that's okay. What I'm saying is be more mindful of the energy that we take in on a daily basis. So sometimes I tell people to go through internet detoxes. I'm about to burp, y'all. I felt it. Sometimes I tell people to go through internet detoxes. Like, I tell people, you know, remove yourself from television sometimes. Like, you have to take responsibility for your emotional state of being. You have to take responsibility for your emotional state of mind and look at your actions honestly and ask yourself, how do you contribute to how you feel? How do you contribute to what's happening? Because it's so easy to pin our feelings off on other people. It's so easy to use other people as scapegoats. I tell people all the time, even in the case that we might be in relationships and people are treating us badly, but we allowed that treatment. It doesn't say that what they did was wrong, because we know that it was wrong. We're not justifying somebody treating us horribly. What we're saying is we allowed that treatment. We allowed that treatment. We allowed somebody to come in to our space and to treat us this way. We didn't stop it. We didn't put our hands up. We didn't disconnect ourselves from that person. Same thing with negative stimuli. We sit on Facebook sometimes all day long and we look at all the negativity. Like, and then what? Then we feel sad about it. Oh, woe is me. Oh, woe is the world. But we didn't take into account that we spent hours upon hours looking at negative things. Everything in life is energetic exchange. Nothing short, nothing more, nothing less. Everything is energetic exchange. And you have to always be in a position where you're ready and you can filter through the energy that you're receiving, the energy that people are trying to give to you, and know where you are. Center yourself. Know where you are with yourself. Know your boundaries. Set them. Know what you can handle on a daily basis. And remember that you cannot give out more than you have in general. So ignore the negativity because it doesn't help anything. I get sad all the time because I constantly look at the world that we live in, and sometimes I'm extremely disappointed to be inside of it, because I can sometimes be very disappointed in the decisions that other people make or the lack of compassion that other people can have. Sometimes I find myself extremely disappointed with the level of ignorance that we can display, or sometimes I find myself very disappointed with how people talk to one another or how people treat one another. But you have to realize that everybody's got their own shit. And you have to know yourself well enough so that when other people come into your space to attack you, that you know yourself and you love yourself so much that you're not bothered by what other people have to say about you. If I internalized half of the negative shit that people have said to me in my lifespan, I would not have been able to help the amount of people that I've been able to help. People usually have negative things to say about you because they themselves feel negatively about themselves. You have to realize that misery loves company and hurt people hurt people. The world would be a lot better place if people were more humane. The world would be a lot better place if people were more compassionate. But we have to realize that we live in a world full of evils, in a world where people walk around with their own demons and they feed their demons and they give them to other people. But you can't accept that. You can't allow that. Somebody can tell you, well, you could have put on your best outfit. You felt great about it. You walked out the house. You felt amazing. You felt you looked beautiful in whatever outfit you put on that day. And you walked outside. And then somebody tells you, oh, that's ugly. Why'd you do that? You look silly that way. I think you should have did your hair this way. I think you should have looked this way today. And then if you don't know yourself and if you're not securing yourself, you'll be defeated by that person. But you just gave your power away to somebody that's powerless. The reason that people feed off of you is because they cannot stand by themselves. Remember that. So when you're being attacked by people, remember that they do not have power on their own. When you're being attacked by people, you have to remember it's because those people also feel very low and they want you to feel low too. When you're being attacked by people, it's because sometimes people don't like your light. When you're being attacked by people, it's because sometimes people don't really know what to do with the differences and it makes them uncomfortable. When you're being attacked by people, sometimes it's because you're living your life and your truth and those people wish that they could live their truths in themselves. Love yourself enough to realize that the projections that people put on you are not yours. Some of the thoughts that you have are not yours. Be careful who you let in your space. Be careful who you let talk over your life. Be careful who you let speak over your life. And you also have to remember that light, even though light is light, light attracts what? Light attracts flies. Honey, have you ever seen a fire going? You ever seen a night light? You ever seen a light in the middle of darkness? You know what's hovering around that light? Flies. Flies. Flies flock to that light. So if you're surrounded by flies, you've got two perspectives to take. Either like attracts like, and you yourself might have some fly tendencies that you need to evaluate. You need to look in the mirror and you might need to evaluate where you are in your life and why you're attracting all of these negative people, because you yourself might also be negative. Or you realize that I'm living in such a way that I'm attracting people that wish to see me fail, that wish to see me not prosper, that wish to see me in a place where I'm not sure of myself, that wish to see me in a place where they see themselves because they are not prospering. There are people that will literally come into your space to just give you a comment, a moment, just to try to bring you down, just so that they can feel better about themselves, even for an inkling of a moment. Live your best life. Live your best life. Live your best life. One of the biggest problems that we have in society, except for being inhumane, is we push our beliefs on other people. We try to make other people feel bad. Worry about yourself. Worry about loving yourself. Worry about if you're saved. So many people love being love judging. So many people love to throw their beliefs in their face. But guess what? Some of your biggest idols were not judgmental. Some of the biggest lights and the people that you look to were not judgmental. There's a lot of people mentioning Jesus, but think about your Jesus. He hung with the lowest of the low, the people that nobody wanted to be around. Jesus was not judgmental. For those that you are mentioning Jesus in the comment section, Jesus was not judgmental. Jesus was a light to the people around him. So if you are going to put yourself in a position to where you would like to try to put yourself above someone else, make sure that where you're standing is of solid ground, because that shit can fall out from underneath you at any given time. So worry about your foundation. Worry about your housing. Worry about, what do they say? Don't throw stones at a glass house. We're all living in glass houses, honey, because ain't none of us on this earth right now perfect. No one. So live your best life. Fuck what anybody else has to say about what you're doing. Fuck what anybody else has to say about the way that you wear your hair. Fuck what anybody else has to say about what you're doing with your life, as long as you are not hurting anyone else. Prioritize yourself. Love yourself that much. Focus that energy that you put into other people on yourself. I posted this recently the other day. The amount of time that people spend envying, the amount of time that people spend being hateful, the amount of time that people spend being negative, the amount of time that people waste on social media spewing out their own toxicity and their own garbage. You could have done something with yourself. You could have done something with your life. You could have done something to uplift yourself so that you're not feeling so shitty about you that you try to make other people feel shitty about themselves. The time that you are spending being negative, the time that you are spending being self-loathing is the same amount of time and energy that you could be spending on researching how to start your own business. It's the same time and energy that you could be researching on how to find a community and a free therapist. It's the same amount of time that you could be spending on investing in yourself so you don't feel so low. Love yourself, and you'll find yourself not disliking so many other people. There is not one person that I do not want to see succeed. I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see everybody succeed. I want to see everybody do well. Because I'm in a place in my life when I look at other people, I don't feel envy. I don't feel jealousy. I look at myself and I see them. I see myself in that person because I realize that we are all connected in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And if they are doing well, then that means that maybe their friends are doing well. So when one person is doing well, we have a chance at manifesting a better world and a better existence. One step at a time. So I'm rooting for you. Even if you're not rooting for me, I'm rooting for you because I want to see you do well. That's encouragement to me. When I see other people doing well, I can sit back and I can say, damn. How did they get there? How did they get to that point? What is it that I can do? What is it that I can take away from that person, that I can look at something and be like, how did they get to this point? What is it that I can do? Because I admire when people do well. A lot of people are so hell-bent on degrading others that if you ever said to yourself, how is this the world that we live in? Ask yourself, how do you contribute to that? Because a lot of negative self-talk. Do you love yourself before you worry about what other people are doing with themselves? Do you love yourself enough? Is all your ducks in a row? Are all your bills paid? Are you flourishing? Are you eating? Are your children doing well? Are you investing in yourself emotionally before you spend the time to try to tear somebody else down? No. Not at all. There's billions of people on the planet. Billions of people on the planet. Billions of people on the planet. And there are still people that think that their way is the only way. That there are still people that think that their way is the only right way. You do not need anybody else's authority over your life. Do what makes you happy. Do whatever your heart desires, as long as it's not hurting anybody else. Do that. A lot of us are living under the emotional pressures of other people and other people's standards for ourselves that don't even like themselves. We're taking other people's advice that don't even love themselves, like themselves, got their own shit together. It's a lot of people that will have opinions about your life that do not have a pot to piss in. You might have purple hair. It might be streaked. You might have got purple leopard print designed hair. I might not like it. But honey, if you love it, then I'm happy for you. And I'm not going to tell you what to do with your hair. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your body, because that is what's making you happy. That's what making you feel complete as a person at the time. That's all that matters. And if more people felt comfortable enough to be who they are every day and to walk safely when they wake up in their path and their light, our world would be a lot better place. But so many people feel they need to be opinionated because they're broken. Work on fixing you. Stop focusing on what other people are doing. Work on fixing yourself. Period. So unless you have all your shit together, unless you're the shining example of perfection in this world, you don't kill, you don't murder, you don't litter, you recycle, you compost, you're just a walking, shining example of perfection. You're the most beautiful person on this planet, undeniably. You are financially stable, and if you are that person, which is no one, then go right ahead. But that's none of us. So that goes to show us that all of that energy that we spend investing in tearing other people down needs to be reverted back to self. So the time, again, I'll say it again, because I think more people need to realize this. The time that you spend being self-loathing, the time that you spend being hateful, the time that you spend being ignorant, the time that you spend being envious, because that's a lot of time and that is a lot of energy. You can take that amount of time and you can meditate. You can take that amount of time and you can look yourself in the mirror and unpack some baggage. You can face your shit. You can get them skeletons out your closet. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. People would hate it if they were disrespected. People would hate it if you insulted them. But they feel so comfortable unloading their shit on you. Make a space for yourself. Make a space for yourself. Make a spiritual space for yourself. Make an emotional space for yourself. Make a space for yourself where only you exist, where you only prioritize yourself, where you do not spread your toxicity. Shit, quarantine yourself. Sometimes I've got to quarantine myself. If I feel myself spiraling, sometimes I don't even talk to anybody because I do not want to let that off on anybody else. Quarantine yourself. Put yourself in a space where it's all about you. It's all about your own healing. Watch the things that you think about. Watch the things that you pull into your mind because that will affect your day. I'm going to write an article on www.magicallymessy.com where I have been posting my blogs about the things that you can do, simple tips for depression and anxiety, because a lot of people don't realize that a lot of your lifestyle choices will feed into how you feel on a daily basis. A lot of people are still eating processed junk foods and sugars and then wondering why they feel shitty emotionally and physically, because those things do negatively affect your body. They do negatively affect your chemical brain function. So if you're dealing with anxiety and depression, the last thing that you need to be putting into your body is sugars, caffeine, alcohol. You don't need to be putting processed food and other chemicals in your body because it's messing up the balance of your mind. So if you feel sad on a constant basis, look into your diet first, because all these different things go hand in hand. We need to look at life in a holistic fashion. I just want you to feel better. I just want you to do better. Okay? Because I'm on a journey to doing the things that I need to do. I'm on the journey of living my dreams, honey. Okay? So I know where I'm going. And I have to keep that in the forefront of my heart. I know exactly where I'm going. I know what I want to see. I know the processes that I need to take to get there. And it's not always easy. But honey, I'm the person in my corner. I've got to be my biggest support system so that I can get there. So when other people are coming in my path and they're trying to destroy me, I can see it for what it is and I can go the other direction, because I'm not wasting my time on that shit anymore. And you shouldn't waste your time on that shit anymore. Ferociously come out of the shell that you've been living in and be the person that you were meant to be. Fuck everybody else. I'm not going to get upset about the negativity thrown at me anymore because I see it for what it is. Once you can see the world for what it is, once you can navigate through the matrix, you stop giving these agents attention. Because the more you feel good about yourself, you realize that you are going to be tested. You are going to be tested on a daily basis because something out there really wants to know if you're really as solid as you say you are. And the more I love myself, the more I become solid in my path, and the more I become solid with my journey, I notice it. I see it. The demons pop up out the woodworks to try to slander you. The demons pop up out the woodworks to give you something negative, okay? The demons pop up out the woodworks to give you some shit that you thought you gave a shit about. But when you get to a certain point when you can realize what's happening, that you are being attacked for no reason, that's peace. You know what peace is? Peace is not being able to have a life with no problems. Peace is being able to stand in the middle of busy traffic, oncoming bullshit, and be like, ain't none of this phasing me because I know that I'm going to get out of it. So at this point in my life, I've been tried and I have been tested, and there is nothing that anyone can say to me that is going to make myself love myself less. There is nothing that anybody can say or do to me that is going to disrupt my value of self. There is nothing that anybody can say or do to me that makes me second think or guess what my path is and where I'm going. And I do have a boogie in my nose. Actually, that's not even a boogie. You know what that is, guys? I have a very dry house, so I put Vaseline in my nose before I started speaking about 40 minutes ago. Because I've got like dry ass nose from being in this dry ass house. So what you're looking at is a flake of Vaseline. But I'm going to get it out. I'm going to get it out when we're done. I'm not going to stop this broadcast right now for a Vaseline boogie, honey. Nah. I'm too good for that. It's naturals. It is naturals. So what I'm going to say, what I'm going to end this video with, because I need to go to the post office. I need to send out the tracking numbers that I do have. I need to get shit done. My message is set your boundaries. Set your boundaries. Know when to stop taking in energy from other people. Know what conversations to have and what not to have. Look at all of your actions. Ask yourself before you say and do anything, is this helping me or is this hurting me? Because everything comes down to those two things. There's really nothing in between. So is what I'm engaging in right now helping me or hurting me? Is this conversation that I'm having right now, is it either helping me or hurting me? Is this person that I'm listening to right now either helping me or hurting me? Is what I'm about to put in my body right now either helping me or hurting me? Boom. That's all it comes down to. So live your best life. Fuck the haters. Love yourself that much. Love yourself enough to prioritize your goals. Love yourself enough to want to see other people succeed and to want to see other people win. Love yourself enough so that when people come and try to steal your joy and try to attack you, it rolls off your motherfucking back because you know that you're the shit. You were divinely created. Divinely created, and you're not going to let anybody take that away from you. You know why? Because misery loves company. Make sure you don't RSVP to nobody else's pity parties out this motherfucking shit, okay? And also, before I go, since I'm doing a shameless plug, look at my 21-day chakra diet. It's on magicallymessy.com, y'all. Also, I'm doing a 30-day Fairy Thug Therapy Challenge starting January 1st. And it's really just so you can get yourself together, tackle the problems that you have personally, emotionally, whatever the hell you've got going on, to be able to let some baggage go, to let some things go out of your life, to be able to clean house internally, spiritually, physically, start something new, start something different, because if you're doing better, then we're all doing better. Okay, so work on making yourself feel better so you're not out here spreading toxicity to other people. Keep your vibrations high. I'm going to get this Vaseline boogie out of my nose. Even if it was a regular boogie, I really wouldn't give a shit. Y'all know y'all get boogies. Damn. Shit. Okay. I love y'all. I love you if you love me. I love you if you like me. I love you if you hate my motherfucking guts. I hope you feel better about yourself, bitch. Bye.